what an absolute country. I don't know if you watched any of the videos or if you're a complete fucking weirdo and just tuning in for the final thoughts. But Iraq, and its people and its landscape, its hospitality blew me away. I had a great experience in Afghanistan, and then Iraq was just seemed to go on a whole new level. I don't believe there is a country which could beat that, and if there is, I want to see it. Let me know. There cannot be a country which has more generous, hospitable, kind, thoughtful and funny people in the world. I just don't believe it. First and foremost, is it safe? The question everyone was asking me. I did get threatened to be stabbed, but let's just bear with me. We went to wanted to go to the Al-Anbar region. I wanted to visit Fallujah and Ramadi, which was the site of the two biggest battles during the Iraqi war. So obviously big issues there in the past, and obviously it is the area which borders on to Syria. So the Al-Anbar region, huge, desolate place, hard to manage, hard to control. So that's a lot of ISIS would hold up there. So it's hard to know what's going on there, and if there's any sign of trouble, which with what's going on in Israel and Palestine, there was protests and everything else. They just refused entry for me. Anyone else could go, no problem. They didn't even check other people. Usually the borders are quite long, where you say, right, okay, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you can sit in this room, we'll sign you off, blah, blah. It was just, as soon as I arrived, it was like a no. It's like, turn around, see you later. I actually took my passport and says, if you go, you're not getting your passport back. Obviously, I couldn't have done without. So yes, we just turned around, went back to Baghdad, enjoyed the rest of the day in Baghdad, and then a few days later we went to Mosul. We wanted to go to the Mosul Dam. We got to the checkpoint. The guide said, look, listen, 2 bombs have just gone up the road, and I'm going, fuck's sake, I'm going to be rejected again. He says, look, you can go, but I don't recommend it, and you can't go to the dam because it's out of bounds, but you can go to like the body of water. And when I was like, the guy can go, let's go before he changes his mind. So we go. Turns out not a lot happened. There was a roadside bomb. We passed like 5 or 6 Hummers, American Hummers. They were doing like a report, and then we went. And this is a perfect example of how you just don't know what to expect in Iraq. You go from something that was so serious, roadside bomb, and then you end up having the most wholesome, humbling experience. Met up with these guys, these kids, like they were like 17, 18, 6 of them. I'd driven down to the water, making a barbecue, gave me food, playing music. We danced. It's just unbelievable. Like, from what I thought was going to be, right, we're going to have to probably watch out here, to having such a unique an experience. I didn't know what to expect whenever we're coming down to that. It's quite difficult to get to. A lot of girls ask me, well, it's all right for a guy, especially with Afghanistan, it's all right for a guy to be able to walk, but can a girl do this? Listen, before you come on and I hate these comments, before you come on and make these little comments, virtuous comments, how about you use YouTube or Google and type in some female vloggers, Afghanistan, Iraq vlog, and see what comes up. Have a look at one example. Is it Emma Wandering Emma? She's Scottish, and she travelled Afghanistan, Iraq, Ukraine, all these supposedly dangerous countries, and she doesn't seem to have, she'll get 1 or 2 issues, of course, like we all do, but she travelled these countries and no issues, and see how the people react to her, see how they treat her, see how they talk to her, and it's with nothing but respect. So get your head out of your, go onto YouTube and check it out for yourself. Honestly, it's unbelievable. And then there's no excuse. If you're going to hear that, there's no excuse for you not to go. So I would recommend it. Honestly, I would recommend it. Can you travel solo? Yes, you can. I'm not a huge one for traveling solo. When I say solo, I mean with a guide or a driver. I prefer having a guide and driver because I like my itinerary quite regimented, quite OCD, that we're doing this, and if something happens, then I've got a choice, right, to hang around and enjoy this experience, or to go off and stick with the itinerary. So it's always better to have a plan, I think. Without having a guide or a driver as such, it just takes so much more time, where you have to organise, right, how do I get there, what do I do I need a guide there, do I need a permission, is there checkpoints, what information do you need for checkpoints? Like, there's just a host of things that can go wrong, not necessarily go wrong during the day, but just take time. And I don't mean like 20 minutes, like 10 minutes. These things could take a couple of hours, but in the long run, I think it pays off so much more. A group tour is a slightly cheaper alternative. Would you go on your own? I would do a trip on your own if you had tons of time, if you didn't really care what you were doing most of the time and you just go with the flow. But if there's a specific number of things you want to see and you're quite tight, guide, driver, all day, unbelievable. It will be dear, but I'll put the guide's information on in the description, and if you're interested, hit him up. He's very, very helpful. Very helpful. People of Iraq, fucking hell, where do I start? Where do I start without being emotional? The people of Iraq are like nobody, similar to Afghanistan, are like nobody I've ever met. They will drown you in chai, free offers of food, invite you back to their house to meet the family. I actually done that once, which was a pretty cool experience. They put on a huge spread for like 20 people, and it was only 3 people eating, because they just want to get to know you, just want to sit down, like they're fascinated, like why you're here, because obviously you don't get many tourists. And the thing in that part of the world is hosting and hospitality is like key before anything else. Considering what they've gone through in the wars, actually going back well before the American invasion, you've obviously got the Iranian War and the Kuwaiti War, the Gulf Wars. And considering what they've lived through, they are just incredible, incredible people. I know if I was walking down the street and I was on my own and I had an issue, I could probably talk to 99% of the people if I needed help, like a real, proper favour, and they would, not only would they help, they would probably do it and not expect anything in return and do it with a smile on their face. They are honestly so, so good. And I think probably that's what it is. It's a bit of a novelty for a lot of them. And I think if there was more, the place was coming down in tourists, maybe it wouldn't be the same, maybe it would. Who knows, time will tell. The food, hummus, the various dips, the falafels, the kebabs, ice cream, chai with an incredible amount of sugar in it. Speaking of sugar, if you're ever in Iraq, ever find yourself in Iraq for whatever reason, you must go to Karbala and try the sweets. The sweets are just a different level. I'm surprised that there isn't like a diabetic pandemic. The sweets and sugar they eat is just incredible. Honestly, Karbala is just phenomenal for that sort of thing. Forget about the shrine of Imam Hussein. It's just a joke, by the way, because that's like one of the most important sites in all of Islam. The sweets is where it's at. The markets, go to the markets to try the sweets. And also special mention in Erbil. It was the best kebab. It's in I think it's in the bazaar, and it's this famous little restaurant, and it's always a queue outside it. It's the best, probably one of the best bits of meat I've ever had. Accommodation was pretty good. I averaged, I think, around $80 per stay, apart from the last day, which was in Continental in Basra, because the 2 football teams were staying there. I think it was like a 180, 190. Yeah, generally speaking, the accommodation was pretty good. You can get cheaper. You can get accommodation for $50 or probably less. But yeah, just up to you what you want. Would I return? Absolutely. Best pros, landscape, very affordable, people, food, history. Not spoke about the history yet. Signal, actually, phone signal was pretty good too. It was like $30. I think was it $30 for unlimited for a month. Cons, traffic, the worst. 160 countries, countless cities, the worst traffic in the world goes to Baghdad. Well done, unbelievable. Favorite part, must not miss. There's so many. I know people in this niche, and I hate the way it sounds. Oh yeah, get out of the big cities, get out of there. But Iraq is off the beaten path as it is. But say if you're in Baghdad or Basra, get out of those cities and experience the smaller towns. Go up through where the Garden of Eden is, Tigris, Euphrates, Shatt al-Arab, the 3 main rivers. The marshlands, visit the Marsh Arabs, incredible people, hilarious, especially Abu Haider, who's like the main Marsh Arab. They'll tell you a few stories. You can stay for the night. You can go through the marshlands up to Uruk, one of the oldest cities in the world, 5,000 years old. You can walk through. If this place was at home, you'd have no chance. The place would be cordoned off. You'd be stuck with everybody else. You'd be walking on a boardwalk. But the fact that you can just walk across and over and pick up these like artifacts, which are my plates don't even last a dishwasher cycle. These plates have lasted 5,000 years on the ground. People walking over them. It's Babylon, obviously more history than anywhere else I can remember, and obviously Saddam's palace as well. One thing, so obviously there's loads of places that you cannot miss. One thing I will remember, easy, the people. Anytime the people are special, like they have been in Iraq, it's always my favourite part of a trip. But the bar is quite high now. The bar is quite high. Rate the country out of 10. It's not for everyone, of course, but 9 for me. 9 for what I knew it was going to come up with. 9's a high score. 9 is a high score. Yeah, 9 for sure. 160 countries, where did it rate? In no particular order, like top 6. Thailand, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, New Zealand. Maldives was pretty good, but for a different reason, because I was just blown away by it. Afghanistan and Iraq. So there you go, top 7. So there you go, that is the final thoughts. Hope I haven't bored you too much. Final thoughts. And yeah, guys, if I can tempt you to go, honestly, give Iraq a try. It is a phenomenal country, unbelievable people. You will not regret it. You will come home. I certainly learned a lot about myself, and yeah, without getting too deep, it's a phenomenal place, and I can't wait to go back. So that's it. Next up will be West Africa. We'll be going to African Cup Nations actually on during our trip. So we're going to Ivory Coast, where it's being hosted, then going across into Liberia, Guinea-Bissau, the Gambia, and then maybe a day or two in Senegal if I have time. Guys, thank you very much. I appreciate people who watch this. I thought it was just going to be my mum and maybe 1 or 2 other people, maybe me watching it, and yeah, I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Unbelievable. So hopefully I will see you in the next series.